Let us be glad. Let us be grateful. Let us rejoice to find that goodness could subdue the wicked workings of you know who. It's good to see me, isn't it?
The podcast for discussions and advice for all walks of life. With Jay, Marie, and Blue, we've got topics just for you, bringing it all to light. We're vividly vocal. We're vividly vocal.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Vividly Vocal with your host, your fairy pod mother, Airy Blue. And yes, I recognize that there is a pattern. Now, an unintentional pattern, but still a pattern nonetheless. We do an episode or two, say we're back, better than ever, ready to put the pedal to the metal, and somehow, some way, we disappear for 3 weeks to a month.
Yeah, gosh, something wrong here.
Where have I been for the past month or so? I've been in a little hole, a tiny hole, and that hole has an address. That address is called seasonal affective disorder, or rather, seasonal depression. It came to me as a complete surprise, as it so often does, because this is my first time experiencing seasonal affective disorder, SAD, or seasonal depression. I thought I would share my experience with you all, and if any of you have gone through this. Because on the last episode, I was motivated, ready to get back to work on the podcast, and then Thanksgiving came. I got to go back to my hometown and visit with my family, and I had a great time. I was ready to get back to work on the podcast, and then out of nowhere, it hit me like this fog came over my mind. And I was just so confused. I thought it was because of my real life work schedule and my sleep schedule or lack thereof. I have a rotating schedule, so I wasn't getting any sleep. Then I started having mood swings. I was going into a rage, mind you. Anxiety, feelings of hopelessness, despair, was just highly dissatisfied with life, period. And I didn't have any specific reason, I guess you could say, to feel that way. There was no big event or big catalyst that made me feel that way, I guess. When I knew it was time to record again, you know how you talk to yourself, okay, I got to get up, I got to do this today, I got to, come on, get up, get up. You know how you talk to your brain and you're like, brain, you got to get up, you got to do this. But the voice inside you is like, no. It was like, no, I can't. And I just kept hearing that in my head over and over again. I can't, I can't, I can't, I can't. Please don't make me get up. I can't. I wanted to just rot in the bed. I physically could not get up, or I was going to cry or something. It was that intense. And as the days or weeks went on, I had a little moment of clarity. And I asked myself, where is this coming from? When did this all begin? What is making me feel this way? I love the podcast. It is what I love to do the most. It is what I hope to make a career out of someday. This is what I am passionate about. This is my hobby. I love this podcast. When did this all begin? And the answer was daylight savings time. Now, to trace it back to where it first began, I personally am a night owl. I love being awake during the night. I love being up late. I like being outside late. I'm a winter baby as well. I'm a Capricorn. I like cold weather too. But not seeing the sun can have some very debilitating effects on the human brain, starting with sleep issues. Reduced sun exposure can disrupt your circadian rhythm, making it harder to fall asleep at night and causing fatigue during the day, which is something I was experiencing. Mood changes. Sunlight helps your brain release serotonin, which can improve your mood and help you feel calm. Low serotonin levels can increase the risk of seasonal affective disorder, or SAD, a type of depression that's triggered by changing seasons. Weight gain. Sunlight may help regulate your metabolism, and without it, your metabolism could slow down. I have gained some weight. I'm still plump and lovely, though. Vitamin D deficiency. Sunlight is a key source of vitamin D, and a deficiency that can cause fatigue, bone pain, muscle weakness, and mood changes. Increased risk of disease. Insufficient sun exposure may increase the risk of several diseases, including breast cancer, colorectal cancer, hypertension, cardiovascular disease, and type 1 diabetes. I realized that when I went to work, it was dark outside. When I left work, it was still dark outside. I would still see sunlight for a time period through the windows, but I was not getting any sun exposure, period, for a period of maybe a month, maybe a few weeks. I don't know. I didn't get to go outside and absorb the sun's rays. But this was my first time experiencing seasonal depression. I typically don't like to claim I have any sort of mental ailment or illness because sometimes I feel like I'm faking or a fraud, so to speak. You know how your parents say, girl, ain't nothing wrong with you. Get up and go do this and that. It kind of felt like that. Like, oh, there's nothing wrong with me. I can't just be like, oh, I have this form of depression, but it's very real. And it was very scary. But when I had those moments of clarity of why do I feel this way? What exactly am I feeling? What can I do to trace where this all began? And what can I do to fix it? I went to good old Google, looked for some of my symptoms, and it came up SAD or seasonal depression. Seasonal affective disorder, SAD, is a type of depression that occurs during specific seasons, usually fall and winter. The prevalence increases at higher latitudes, with SAD being more common in people living far from the equator, where there are fewer daylight hours in the winter. Younger people and women are also at higher risk. SAD has been linked to changes in the brain prompted by shorter daylight hours and less sunlight in winter. In most cases, seasonal affective disorder symptoms can appear during late fall or early winter and go away during the sunnier days of spring and summer. Less commonly, people with the opposite pattern have symptoms that begin in spring or summer. So, what are the symptoms of seasonal depression? One major thing that I noticed that happened to me was social withdrawal. I withdrew from everything. And just the thought that occurred in my head when, I mean, maybe my family would call, my boyfriend would want to go do something, or even getting on social media. What just went off in my head was, it's too much. It's too much. It's too much. I can't handle this. I can't handle this. It's too much for me. And it got to be even too much to get on Twitter and scroll and see what my friends are talking about, or Instagram or Facebook. I just couldn't. I had to just log out of everything. And I mean, I got onto TikTok and just watched some videos to rock my brain, I guess. I don't know. Like, I wanted to hide from the world. I wanted to go in my bedroom, get in the bed, and rot by my lonesome in the dark. I wanted to go in my little hole and go into hermit mode. Actually, that was the title of an episode I was writing for. But then I realized that was my seasonal depression talking. I think the episode was called I'm Fighting the Urge to Go into Hermit Mode. That is when it all started occurring around, I think daylight saving time was November 21st or 19th. I don't remember. But that's when it started culminating. During this time, I have a specific section for my podcast notes in my phone where I just, if an idea comes to me while I'm out and about, I just open my phone and go to my podcast section and just start writing potential topics or notes or something to that effect. And I opened my notes and I just started writing what I was feeling. Here's what I wrote. It's real dramatic, okay? The title was I'm burnt out. I can't sleep. And when I have time to sleep, I can't because of my fucked up schedule. I'm tired of being needed. I'm tired of making decisions for everyone. And I'm tired of not being able to devote time to myself. I always have to consider someone. Who will consider what I need? I tried to make a TikTok and my boyfriend wouldn't leave me alone for 5 minutes. So much obligations to work, to family, to my relationship. I have nothing left of me to give to anyone. Now, maybe perhaps you could argue that's indicative of some other things, but that's just what I was feeling through the lens of seasonal depression. Yeah, I just came on here to tell y'all all my business because y'all like being in my Kool Aid. Another symptom of seasonal depression or SAD, seasonal affective disorder, is lack of energy, low energy levels, feeling tired or slowed down. It can cause you to oversleep way more than you need to, or you can suffer from insomnia, like I did. It was a little bit of both for me. One night I had to be at work for 4:45 a.m. and it was almost midnight and I could not sleep. And y'all, I swear, I just rolled over and started crying. I felt like I was losing it. I was not getting the necessary 7 to 8 hours to sleep that you need to function. And I was so tired of repeatedly not getting enough sleep for weeks and weeks on end. I've also been a light sleeper lately. You know how your body is asleep, but your mind is now awake. I guess you could say any little disturbance, such as the door creaking open. I have a loud bedroom door. If it creaked open, that would instantly ruin my sleep. I remember one day I was sleeping during the day because I had a night shift. My boyfriend cracked open the door to ask me, "Where is the hair gel?" And I wanted his head. Never have I wanted blood so badly than in that moment. But you know what? We forgive and we move. Another symptom is increased appetite, especially for sweets and carbohydrates, leading to weight gain. I don't know if it was this time period because I don't own a scale. I don't weigh myself. I think I'm just pretty good about noticing if maybe my clothes get tighter or if I feel a little less light on my feet, then I know I need to slow it down on, my diet or the junk food and this and that. But during this time, I gained some weight. Well, my diet hasn't been the best over the later half of this year. The only time I get weight is if I go to the doctor every year. And this time I'm maybe 10 to 15 pounds more than what I typically am. So, yeah, the gym has seen me a couple times recently. Another big symptom for me, difficulty concentrating, remembering, or making decisions. This one was a big one for me because, for example, my boyfriend lets me make all the decisions on what we're going to eat, what we're going to do, this and that. And, he's just trying to please me. I understand. But this would drive me insane because at that moment, I physically couldn't think straight. I couldn't. I'm like, can't you just decide for once what we're going to eat? Because it was just getting to be that much of a chore for me. I couldn't do it. I physically could not think straight. And he didn't understand it. I mean, I didn't understand it either. I didn't have the reasoning of why I can't think about if we're going to eat pizza or Popeyes tonight, but he would ask me something at the beginning of the day. Hey, you want to go see this movie or you want to go to the mall or something to that effect? And I would be like, well, I don't know. I got to think about it. And the day would pass and I would forget about it, forget to make that decision, I guess. And we would get to the end of the day. He's like, hey, have you decided what we're going to do? And I'll be like, no. No, I didn't decide. No, I didn't decide because I can't think straight. And like those simple little decisions would make me just tumble into a deeper hole. It was crazy. Like I said in my mini journal entry, I guess, I said that I was tired of making decisions for everyone. I've always been that person for people to ask me to make a decision because people see me as a natural born leader for some reason. And I hate hearing the phrase, It's up to you. I hate that because if I'm asking for your input on something, hey, what should we, what restaurant should we try for brunch or whatever? I hate hearing it's up to you. I can't stand it because I'm legitimately asking for your input. If I had a plan or a strong inclination towards a place, I wouldn't be asking you. I get people respect my opinion, but when I'm genuinely asking in a way that's me asking for help, like, hey, can we put our heads together and think about this? But it is what it is. Mood, feeling moody or feelings of worthlessness, including having thoughts of death or I hate censoring words. Does YouTube make you censor words like TikTok does? Let's call it self-committing. Self-committing. Other symptoms include physical aches and pains. I remember even now, my back just felt so weak out of nowhere. I've always had really good posture. People have complimented me on like how straight I sit up and how my back is. And suddenly my I just got so weak. Like when you know how you would sit in the chair and you need to keep your back straight, my back started going on shrimp. I was curled up like a shrimp on the couch, in the chairs at work. Like I physically couldn't even sit up straight because it was too painful. I remember even laying in bed started to hurt. Like my back, my hips, my legs and feet. I was just all over the place. I was in shambles. I was falling apart. Other symptoms include headaches, cramps, digestive problems, and decreased sex drive. Now, what are some ways we can treat SAD? Number one is light therapy. You can either go get light therapy treatment, I believe, and there's also a light box that you can get on Amazon, and it'll give you exposure to light rays similar to the sun's. But if you don't want to buy a light box, you need to get as much natural sunlight as possible. Some recommend spending 3 to 15 minutes outdoors when the sun is highest in the sky to get enough vitamin D. You can also maximize your vitamin D production by wearing sunscreen, as some sunlight can still reach your skin through it. Step outside of your house, your job, wherever during the day for maybe 15, 20 minutes and get as much natural sunlight as you can. Make your home and work environment light and airy. Like me, sitting near windows when you're indoors. Exercise regularly, especially outdoors or in sunlight. Eat a healthy, balanced diet. Avoid stressful situations and take steps to manage stress. And also, you can take vitamin D supplements. And also, if you must, please don't be afraid to see a mental health professional, such as a therapist or somebody who can help you with the matters of seasonal depression. Don't be like me and just now that I'm aware of it, I'm gonna just ride it out. I do that. That's my toxic trait. Sometimes I just wait for things to go away. Sometimes, you know how when you're on your cycle and you have your cramps and you're like, if anybody's ever done this, sometimes I'm like, I'm not going to take the medicine. I want to see how strong I am. I don't get a reward for that. I don't get a trophy or anything. But then you just break down and end up taking the medicine because it hurts too bad. That's how I am. We're here for you. Do you need advice to vent, spill some tea, or just want to chat with Blue and J. Marie? Vividly Vocals advice hotline is open. Email us at askvvpod@gmail.com and we'll read your email on an episode of the show.
Yes, come connect with Vividly Vocal. We are on Facebook, which is going to be Vividly Vocal Podcast. We're on YouTube, which is going to be Vividly Vocal Podcast. We're also on Instagram, which is Vividly Vocal Pod. We're on Twitter as well, or you can call it X, that's at Vividly Vocal. And we are on TikTok, which you can find us at Vividly Vocal. And also, we do have a Cash App. Come invest in us, okay? We can get a bigger studio or some more equipment, or, just invest in us because our Cash App is going to be at Vividly Vocal. All donations go towards the development of Vividly Vocal.
And now, back to the show. I've also been getting back into journaling lately, y'all, and it's really helping me. I'm a highly emotional person that I now have to admit. I know I come on here in front like I'm just the strongest person in the world, but I'm absolutely not. This is an entry from December 19th, last, I think that's Thursday, and that's my little sister's birthday, by the way. 12:35 p.m. I slept almost a full 12 hours, but I woke up feeling anxious as ever. Why? Because I have a full day of responsibility ahead of me. My main task is to record at least one episode of the podcast. It's been a month since the last episode because of my seasonal depression. I have so much to say off camera, but as soon as I record, I forget everything as soon as I get on the camera. I know it comes with practice, but I can barely do that when I have to balance work, my boyfriend, family, and chores. Speaking of family, happy 16th birthday to my little sister. I went to get a physical for work yesterday. Of course, I've gained weight. I need to lose at least 10 pounds. Every day, it's always something added to the to do list. I always have to do something. So much obligation, but no wants. I want to chill. I need a vacation. Now I've let my boyfriend influence me into eating Chick fil A almost every day. And now I'm 168 pounds, the heaviest I've ever been. My typical weight is 150 to 155 pounds. Now, I think this is because of an eating disorder that I had in the past. So, this is what was rearing its ugly head on this day. It just feels like my life is a mess. I can barely keep up with time. Everyone wants my time and attention. How am I supposed to chase my dreams like this? According to my human design and what has worked for me in the past, I still have to find peace and satisfaction in the now. But showing gratitude has been so difficult lately. It's like I'm almost dead inside. Well, I'm grateful my little sister is 16 years old today. Will I make it to the gym today? Who knows? And what are some corrective actions that I took to regulate and manage and potentially hope to uplift my mood? Right after that, I got up out of bed. I think I brushed my teeth. I did some stretching. I made myself something to eat, and then I went to the gym. Here is what I wrote 4 hours later after I did all those things and went to the gym. 4:44 p.m. I made it to the gym. Yay me. After my last injury, I brushed my teeth, cooked some amateur carbonara, kinda sucked since I barely had anything in the fridge. Will meal plan after I come back home from the holidays. But at least I still made it. Used my back massager and stretched my tired, almost 26-year-old bones and limbs. I felt much better and less anxious. So I picked myself up, got dressed, took out some trash to the dumpster, and went to the gym, even though I had to walk back to get my Stanley Cup for water. It was extra steps for my daily count anyway. I did some cardio, ran for the first time in a long time, and some upper body exercises. As much as it pains me to admit it, exercise is good for you. Groundbreaking, I know. Improves your mood, gives you energy, makes you stronger. Crazy, I know. With a clearer mind, I think the pressure I put on myself for starting new ventures and routines is that I worry I won't be able to maintain them consistently. Like I can't live up to my own expectations of the result, or I can't make the simplest decisions on the direction I want to go. The only thing I've wanted to show up consistently to is the podcast. But still, I'm indecisive of how I will show up to it. I want a show of quality and of authenticity, but I worry my finished product won't be meaningful or powerful. It's very lonely and such a big undertaking for me to create and put my content into the world like this. I know I have to stand behind my creations 1,000,000%, and that's exactly what I intend to do. I just bared my soul to you people for nothing, for pennies, not even pennies, for dust. But no, I'm glad to share that with y'all. But I think this shows, instead of the action that we might want to take, or rather the inaction, the easy way would have just been me laying back in bed, sleeping the rest of the day away, waking up at some point, still feeling bad, going back to sleep, wake up, still feeling bad, continuing the cycle, or giving myself some gentle love and care, doing some mental health practices that are beneficial for me. I made a decision to journal my feelings instead of holding them in my mind. I moved my body. I stretched. I took care of my hygiene. I brushed my teeth, washed my face, and took care of my physical some more. I made myself a meal instead of going to maybe buy fast food. I went to my apartment gym. I drank some water. I exercised. I got in some cardio and weightlifting, and see how much my mood and my clarity and my mental clarity and how I'm able to articulate myself much better. I was able to identify my anxieties and my fears just from making the free decision to take care of myself. And I think that's really nice. Do y'all like my journal? I got it from Walmart. It's really cute. It's like leather bound, and this is what the pages are like. You can circle what day the entry happened, and I just write the time. And I've been studying human design as well. So I wrote down all my human design chart aspects too. I'm going to do it the same for my astrology birth charts. And I've just been getting to know myself lately. And it's been pretty fun. But you guys, there are no emails once again for this episode except a bunch of spam I've been receiving from scammers and whatnot. But the way I see it is that if y'all don't need advice, then that means you don't have any problems. So, no news is good news. And I hope you all are doing well. I hope you enjoy your Christmas if you celebrate, and what other holiday traditions you participate in, such as Kwanzaa, Hanukkah. I hope you enjoy the season. I really love the Christmas season. But lately, as you get older, the magic kind of wears off. But I love seeing Christmas lights, Christmas decor, Christmas music. I love Christmas songs as well. And it just brings me back to, the family traditions and the love within my family that was there for the holidays. And I just remember being a kid, and specifically, my great grandmother had a huge Christmas tree that would touch the ceiling, and she would get a gift for every single person in the family. It doesn't matter how long you've been gone or you don't come around often, how often she sees you. She made sure everybody in the family had a gift. Now, what I want y'all to be vividly vocal about today is, have you ever experienced seasonal depression? Can you relate to what I'm saying? Did you know you had or have it? Did you seek professional help for it? Did you ride it out? What did you do? How was your experience? Is it something you experience frequently? And to leave it on a positive note, what are some of your favorite holiday memories? Be very vividly vocal in the comments, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Bye, y'all.